Hey y'all, welcome back to Script and Sip. My name is Jessica, and if you're new, welcome. So today we are going to be talking about, you guessed it, or you read it in the title, Pop the Balloon. Now I know I said I wasn't going to talk about Pop the Balloon anymore. However, I heard that the episode 2 was so much better. So I took a little looky look and yeah. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So we have 8 men daters and 3 single ladies that are looking for love. First up, we have Angela. Now, I'm not going to say I liked Angela. I think Angela is really pretty. She's into the dentistry field, and she's going to be a Dr. Angela in a year. So I was like, I know that's right. We meet her, and one of the things I wanted to point out that she said was that her power couple was Jay-Z and Beyonce. I just shook my head. I was like, really? No shade to J and B, but it's like I heard rumors about Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce. Again, it could be rumors. I don't know what goes on behind those closed doors. I know what goes on behind the elevator doors. That's all I know. Okay, do with that what you want. Maybe the success part is what she means, like couple goals. Maybe, I don't know. 3 of her red flags for men was no job, understandable, no fashion sense, and disrespectful. Now I will say this because I've dated men that don't have any fashion sense, and that's okay because the way they treated me was nice. Now you're probably like, okay, well, they treated you nice, why did y'all break up? Because it didn't go anywhere. That's why. He just didn't want to progress our relationship, so had to dip on out, and we just remain friends. But we don't we don't talk. I don't know. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about the show. So she asked a question about 5 to 10 year plan. And one thing that Cinco said to me was, he was like, he's not a fan of that question, like Yvonne said, but you answered it very specifically. And I was like, okay, well, maybe even though it's a very generic question, that's why he doesn't like it. Even though it is a generic question, I feel like you can still answer. You're going to give specific answers anyway, right? That's what I would think. But Cinco is an actor. He wants to continue to pursue and get more roles in his acting. I did hear that Cinco was on Love Island. I can see that. So, but who was he with? I don't know. I gotta go back and watch the season. So it makes sense why he say that he wants to grow as an actor. And I hope he's able to continue to grow himself as an actor. Maybe get some roles, not just like outside of reality TV. Or maybe he just wants to be a reality actor. I don't know, because sometimes I feel like these reality shows are not real. They're scripted. You're just a reality actor. Anyway, Angela had to pop some balloons. So Angela ended up popping Seth's balloon. I have a little bit of a lisp, apparently. I didn't know I did until I had somebody point out I have a lisp. So it's kind of hard for me to say this man's name without sounding lispy. So Angela popped Seth's balloon. Okay, there we go. And then Rolando popped his balloon. Rolando said that Angela really isn't his type. He likes more of a light-skinned Latina Asian type women, and I was like, okay, you have your preference, that's fine. Angela ended up popping Dylan's balloon because of his height. And what Dylan said, because first of all, I rocks with Dylan too. Dylan said he may be a short king, but he tall in personality. I said, oh, I know that's right. You stand tall on that. You tall in my books, Dylan. Jamie asked her a question if she's cool with any of her exes. And I was like, that's actually a good question, because I know some people that are really cool with an ex. Side note, I used to date this guy, or I was getting to know this guy. I guess you could say dating. He was still cool with his ex. It was his ex-fiance. And they were together for 10 years. And he was like, well, we broke up for 3. But I was like, how is that even possible when you told me that y'all literally just lost y'all baby last year? I was like, oh, this just seems like it's a possibility that you're going to go back. So we had to end that, because I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. So I think that's a very valid, great question, Jaden. So, but she said, you know what? No. She blocks and she's done immediately. There's no double back and dipping. She's done. When she's done, she's done. And I'm like, that's my girl right there. Cinco pops his balloon, and he was like, it just kind of wasn't there for him. It was just kind of giving homegirl vibes. And Angela popped Floyd's balloon, because she was just like, he doesn't seem like he's like, she wants somebody that's like a life of a party, and he just kind of seemed like really like quiet, shy, reserved. I was like, maybe he just seemed like, maybe he's nervous. I don't know. She wants somebody that's more outgoing. And I can understand that too as well. She pops Logan's balloon because, like I mentioned earlier, she was like, it just kind of gives like, oh, this is my bestie. He's a real bad, got my own money. I don't know. don't know the song. But y'all know what I was trying to sing? No. Okay, it's fine. So yeah, now we're down to the final two. And the question is, what is the single hardest thing about dating you? So Javian said it takes him a while. He got to get a feel them out, and he's going to date other people. It's basically, to me, it came off as, I'm going to string you along until I'm ready. Okay. It may take me a year or 2 or 3, but just know it's coming. And I cannot stand stuff like that. But if that's how you date, that's how you date. That leads me to Yinka saying that taking his time, you got to build a friendship first and don't be rushing. I think that it's important too to like build a relationship, but build a friendship first. And, like getting to know that person instead of just rushing into it. Because I see like a lot of times on social media where people be like, oh, we met yesterday, we got engaged today, and then tomorrow we're getting married. And it's like, whoa, this could be you too. And I just be like, I don't think I want that. Like, I just want it to naturally flow. But I'm also not going to be sitting here 2-3 years later talking about when we're going to be together. I don't want to do that either. She ended up popping Javian's balloon, and then Yinka popped her balloon, or he said it's not a lock, it's a loss, or whatever they say, because she had asked previously about a horoscope. I think it was to Javian, and she was like, what's your sign? But and so he said he was a Cancer, I think. She was like, I'm not into it. I don't know much about it. And honestly, I don't either. I don't read too much in it. Basically, he said, you're not supposed to let your sign define you. And I agree with him on that, because a lot of people, they literally be like, oh, I'm a Leo. So I laugh a lot. So yeah, so he ended up popping his balloon because of that. And so there was no love found, which I thought was interesting at the end, but we'll get to that in just a second. But anyway, moving on to Casey. Casey is 30, and her deal breakers are selfish, doesn't ask questions, and lack ambition. And I completely agree with all of that. Okay. Casey is a boss. Casey seems like she's a boss at work, and it seems like she would be a boss in the relationship. But I also feel like I hope she would know how to let her man lead. Now, if he's going to lead you into disaster, then get away, girl, run. So Casey had those legs out, y'all. She said, hello, fellas, my legs are here, and so am I. So as she was talking, Floyd ended up popping his balloon. And she was like, oh, it kind of made me a little nervous. Like, what just happened? I wonder why he popped. Well, he popped because of her legs. And Yvonne was like, you don't like legs? When I tell you I died, I don't know why I died laughing at that. It was so funny. It was the way she said it. You don't like legs? And I still, maybe I'm a little slow, because I still don't understand the reason he wants to be amused and have him wondering. I don't get it, but I've been trying to figure out what in the world did he mean. I'm so confused. Maybe somebody can help me understand that. Like, put it down below in the comments, because maybe I'm slow and I don't know, because I'm not understanding. But anyway, the Rolando popped because of the age. Javian popped because of the age as well, which I understand completely. Cinco popped his balloon because he felt like there was no spark, and I can understand that. And Dylan and Seth popped their balloon too. Seth said because he felt like there was some sexual tension between Logan and Casey. And I'm like, oh my God. Yinka popped his balloon because he felt the same way, like there's no vibe. So now it's Logan and Casey. Casey asked, like, what would you do for me if I'm having a bad day? He was like, oh, I would get you wine, food. Like, basically, I'm gonna cater to you. Do anything that you need me to do since you had a really bad day. Casey says she finds his confidence very attractive, and it goes a long way. So it's a lock. And I was like, oh, it's not the first lock of the season. I'm here for it. But here's the thing. Did any of y'all feel, or is it just me? Did you guys feel like maybe there was a chemistry there? Like, I didn't feel it between Casey and Logan. But she did say this is not her normal type. And she stepped out. And I was like, you know what? Respect. So it's not for me to feel, but I just wasn't seeing it. But they saw something with each other that I didn't see, and it's not my balloon popping story. So I do hope it works out for them, honestly, because I like Logan, and I want Casey and Logan. Heck, I want all of them to find love. I'd be rooting for love. Anyway, let's move on to Zaina, our last girl. So Zaina actually knows Cinco. Because she was like, Cinco, what you doing here? I knew I was going to run into somebody that I knew. So her red flags was she doesn't like indecisive people or men that don't know how to communicate. Girl, me too. I am with you on that. And she doesn't like, they don't know how to handle conflict. I feel like me and Zaina are right here. Because I feel the same exact way. Floyd popped his balloon. So they asked like, Floyd, oh, why did you pop? He said, and I feel like it was, he said because she knows Cinco and he don't want a cock block. And it was so funny because it was like so quiet for just a split little, maybe 2 seconds. And so even Zaina was like, and Cinco was like, you don't even want to try to get to know like mate. But it's also like she didn't even give the context of them knowing each other just yet. You just automatically just go ahead and just pop. And she said we literally just met this past weekend. Like there's literally no feelings mutuals. I don't even know they have each other's number. They probably do. But she said like we literally just met. So she's 34. Rolando popped because of his age, which is understandable again. So then we introduced to Marco. Marco wants someone because she asked a question. Don't ask me what the question was, honestly, for God. I just remember the answer that Marco gave was, he said he wants someone that he can socialize with if he can leave at the party alone and not have the person follow him to the bathroom. Who's following you to the bathroom? And Yvonne was like, they follow you to the bathroom? I'm thinking the same thing, like, huh, what? And so he's like, no, like, basically not be, just follow me around. I was like, can you just say that? I think he was getting ready to ask a question, but then he popped, and then he was getting ready to ask a question, and we was like, wait, what? Y'all, this is so funny. Side note, in my notes, I said we were taken aback, Zaina and Molly. So if you watched Insecure, Yvonne's character name was Molly. I don't know why I put Molly. I meant to put Yvonne, but I put her as her character name in Insecure, Molly. Sorry, Yvonne. Sorry. He said he felt like she judged his answer. I don't think it was a judge. It was just a moment where they was just kind of like, well, explain your answer because this is quite interesting. So she ended up popping Dylan's balloon because of his height. And I'm like, ugh. Dylan's been to Egypt. Dylan likes to travel. Dylan. Hey, Dylan. I like to travel too. Dylan's still standing tall. I have faith that Dylan's gonna get his traveling queen. So Javian asked her a question like, what type of friend are you in your friend group? And she's like, I'm the auntie, the godmom, the ride or die. And I was like, dang, I feel like Zaina and I are really the exact person because I am too, girl. I am too. Well, I am a godmom. I call my godson. I was like, you are my son. My best friend just gave birth to you. That's it. Like, you're actually my son. I am an auntie to 2 of the best nephews out there. And my youngest nephew, he asked my sister when he was little. My nephew really wanted me to be his godmom, and I was like, yes, I can be godty. And definitely a ride or die for my friends. So she asked him, the same question. He says he's kind of like the dad, but he also has like a wild side to him. So Steph asked her like, what are red flags in a man? And I was like, he must have listened in the beginning because she clearly told you. But no, I'm kidding. Sometimes, anyway. So she said like inconsistency, dishonest, runs away from conflict. Basically what she said earlier. And honestly, this is for like a lot of people. These should be red flags for everybody, honestly. Being inconsistent, dishonest, and not being able to handle conflict. Like she had to pop 2 balloons, but Seth ended up popping his own balloon because he felt like it's better chemistry with someone else. And I was like, oh, maybe he felt the same way that Floyd felt like there's probably better chemistry with Cinco. I don't know. Anyway, so we're down to our final 2. She asked, it's Javian and Cinco. And she asked, like, what's a date night after, like, a very stressful week? What does that look like? And Javian's like, I'm going to take you out of town and get you, a change of scenery. We can go get food, wine, basically whatever you want to do. And Cinco's like, I was going to say the same thing. Like, let's just go out of town. We could do, like, spa days. Or if you want to be competitive, we can go on, like, do something that's competitive or whatever, because I'm very competitive. I don't know how, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she ended up popping Javian's balloon because she said Cinco actually included her in the plans. And I was like, but Javian kind of did too. I guess like Cinco asked her what she wants to do or whatever. I don't know. But I was like, well, Javian kind of did too, because it wasn't like he wasn't thinking about you. To me, he was literally saying like, I'll take you here, I'll take you there. And I'm like, that. Just say he was more attracted to Cinco. I don't know. Maybe I missed something that Javian said, or, you know, Cinco said, or, you know, maybe I missed something. So Cinco asked her about like her faith base, and she's like, you know, I'm very much into God. Like, I believe in God. I love God. He's the head of my household. He is my foundation. He's my rock. He's my, you know, I'm just talking, but yeah, she said that, and he like, it's a lock for me. And then she was like, well, I got one more question. She's like, are you single? Like, are you really, really single? Like, you won't have nobody thinking that they go with you or nothing like that, because people do that though. People be having people thinking that, are we together? And next thing you know, we see you on this show. I'm looking at you on TV and I'm like, wait a minute, we're together. What do you mean? You know, but I'm just saying though, because I'm like, what are you doing to lead this person on? That person may be delusional, or you doing something to lead this person on. So I was like, that's a valid question. That's a valid question. But yeah, they both locked in. But it would have been funny to me if Zaina and Cinco kind of planned that when they ran into each other. Maybe they was talking about, oh, I'm finna go on this show or something like that. And they're like, oh, me too. Well, maybe we could act like, you know, oh, I just, you know, didn't really know that you was gonna be there, and then act like that, and then we actually connect. Like, let's just make it like, you know, let's connect on TV to make that money. I don't know if they get paid for this, but I just thought about that. I was like, maybe y'all planned that. So I wanted to touch on this too. When they're at the end and everybody is dancing and stuff, I hear Yinka says to Angela, seriously, stay in contact. And Angela's like, no. Because you should have locked in when you did to stay in contact so y'all can maybe date, or you want to like talk to her. I can only say in my opinion. In my opinion, I kind of feel like he probably should have locked in with Angela. I'm kind of with Angela. I'm kind of like looking at you like, you should have locked in with me. You should have locked in with me. But now here we are at the end dancing, and you in my ear saying stay in contact. I'll think about it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. That is my take on Pop the Balloon. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.